Hello and welcome to Housing TV News at the top of the hour, coming to you from our studios here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Dorcas Chia. And now let's take a look at our top stories. NAPTIP rescues 25 women from human trafficking attempt in Abuja. Observers laud Kaduna by-election as credible, urges sustained voter education. All electric devices must be switched off during flight takeoff and landing, NCAA DG says, and on the foreign scene, at least 14 wounded in Russian attack on the Summit region, says the Prime Minister. And now the news in detail. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons (NAPTIP) has successfully intercepted and rescued 25 women from being trafficked out of Nigeria. According to NAPTIP spokesperson Vincent Adekoye, the victims were lured with false promises of lucrative domestic jobs in Saudi Arabia, but were instead at risk of severe labor exploitation. The rescue operation was carried out in Wuse to Abuja, where the women had been instructed to gather in front of a hotel by their trafficker. Acting on intelligence, NAPTIP operatives swiftly intervened and apprehended the victims, who were reportedly recruited from Kano, Jigawa, and Katsina states. During preliminary investigations, the women, aged between 17 and 43 years, revealed that they were promised work as house helps abroad. Many admitted that it was their first time in Abuja and that they had not received any travel documents such as visas or passports, raising suspicion about the credibility of the recruitment. Reacting to the incident, NAPTIP Director General Binta Bello condemned the increasing use of Abuja as a trafficking hub. She urged relevant bodies, including travel and recruitment agencies, to intensify oversight of their members to prevent such exploitation. Bello Binta also warned the public about the dangers of falling victim for fraudulent overseas job offers. About to Benue State, the governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Hyacinth Yome Malia, has upheld the resolutions of the Benue State House of Assembly conveyed to his office regarding the suspension of some public officials. In line with the resolution passed by the House, His Excellency affirmed the suspension of the Executive Chairman of Otukpo Local Government Area, Mr. Maxwell Ugiri, for a period of 1 month effective from 19th August 2025. He also affirmed the suspension of the Chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, Mrs. Grace Dagba, for a month, also taking effect from 19th August 2025, and the immediate suspension of the Executive Secretary of the Benue State Lottery Commission, Mr. Michael Upe, for the period of 1 month. Governor Alia reiterated his unwavering commitment to the rule of law, due process, and the principles of separation of powers. He commended the House of Assembly for exercising its constitutional responsibilities and assured the people of Benue State that his administration remains dedicated to transparency, accountability, and good governance. Away from that story, the Nigerian Bar Association Kaduna branch has joined residents of 6 communities in Igabi local government area who staged peaceful protests against alleged illegal demolitions, human rights violations, and the disobedience of subsisting court orders by the Nigerian Army Infantry Corps Center in Jaji, Kaduna State. The protesters, carrying placards with various inscriptions, demanded respect for the rule of law, reversed eviction, and insisted that the military is not above civil authority. The chairman of the NBA Kaduna branch, Barrister Baba Lawal, condemned what he described as demolitions of ancestral homes, farmlands, forced evictions, and arbitrary arrests despite existing court injunctions.
The branch condemns the ongoing illegal demolitions, human rights violations, and disobedience to court orders in the Igabi local government of Kaduna State, subjected to unlawful demolitions of their ancestral homes and farmlands, arbitrary arrests without warrants, and forced evictions despite being court injunctions expressly prohibiting such actions. The NBA Kaduna branch therefore asks for the following. 1. Strongly condemns the illegal demolitions, arbitrary arrests, and contemptuous or disobedience of court orders by the commander of ICC Jaji. Calls for immediate halt to all planned demolitions in the Igabi local government area, including Anguwan Malam Auta. 3. Demands the release of unlawfully detained persons with immediate effect. 4. Warns that continued defiance of judicial authority will not be tolerated and urges urgent accountability by the military. Assures the affected communities of the MBS unwavering commitment to defend their rights and uphold the sanctity of the rule of law.
Reacting to the allegations, the commander of the Infantry Corps Center, Major General Usmani Yusuf, said demolitions of illegal settlements within Jaji cantonment pose serious security threats and hindered military training, stating that the communities harbored criminals and drug addicts and the military will not tolerate such acts.
They've occupied all our training areas. They've farmed all areas we're supposed to train, and it's given us serious problem because we find it difficult to conduct training within the cantonment because we don't want to destroy crops. However, we cannot continue to live like this in light of recent security challenges that are emanating within this community, ranging from drugs, kidnapping activities, including murder. Most of our pre-deployment training for all operations are conducted here. So can you imagine that we have terrorists and informants residing here and they are watching our training? And especially now that people have phones, they can even record what they are saying, stay somewhere, record everything. And the adversary knows how we train and prepare for us. Serious security risk to these assets. So they just can't remain here.
The NBA and protesting communities are appealing to the federal and Kaduna state governments, as well as the international community, to intervene urgently to halt military actions, warning that the continued defiance of judicial authority would not be tolerated.
We are saying this matter has been in court for almost a decade, and there are several court orders that ordered both parties to maintain their positions. So why should the military go in the middle of the night and demolish houses, mosques and churches and displace the young, the children, the female, the disabled during this rainy season? I mean, I think it's totally unfair and unacceptable. We call on the federal and the Kaduna state governments, civil society and the international community to take immediate steps to stop these violations. Fair justice, Arwa Shalom. Let justice be done through the heavens fall. And we call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to call the military to order.
The affected communities include Malam Auta, Ungwan Yohana, Ungwan Aboki, Sabon Ungwan Luya, Ungwan Railway, and Ungwan Al Hassan in Jaji. Now, domestic election observers have lauded the recently concluded by-elections in Chikun Kajuru and Basawa Kewaya constituencies of Kaduna State as credible, transparent, and violence-free, reflecting the true will of the people. They are urging for sustained massive voter education to curb the apathy witnessed in some polling units. Speaking at a press conference in Kaduna, leader of the Advocacy for Sustainable Development Initiative, Abdul Rashid Shuaib, said the exercise covered 36 wards and over 1,100 polling units with materials arriving on schedule. He noted that the biometric voter accreditation system, BVAS, played a crucial role in curbing malpractice, while voters conducted themselves orderly and security agencies acted professionally to ensure peace throughout the process. The observers lament moderate turnout in some areas and stress the need for increased civic education to encourage participation and strengthen confidence in the electoral process. They commended INEC for early deployment of staff and materials, as well as the use of result viewing portal IREV, which enhanced transparency. And now, the Benue State Environmental Sanitation Agency has carried out destruction of expired items seized from shop owners across the state, which is in line with Governor Alia's vision of a healthy living of the people of the state. Performing public destruction of the expired products at the premises of the agency in Makurdi. The General Manager of the State Sanitation, Honorable Chief Anta Igbato, said it is part of the function of the agency to carry out an inspection of shops and pharmacies to ensure that what is sold to the public was not harmful to the people. The General Manager reiterated the commitment of the agency to work in line with the laws and called on sellers of consumable and other products to desist from the act, as the agency will not spare anyone caught in the act.
We are here together to destroy some items that were expired. And also want to advise the people who are selling those items also know that we are human beings. So they should desist from this act. Or further, when we catch them, we will find them. If not because of sympathy or human being, when you are selling expired items, it's a duty of Bensisa to take you to court and fine you to pay for trying to kill people. Don't just right to buy things in other supermarket, in chemist, or everywhere. Check it. It's always there. If it's expired, come and report to us.
Earlier, the Benue State Environmental Sanitation Health Officer Mary Isaac described the exercise as a crucial performance by the environmental health officers during routine inspections of shops and other places in line with public health laws, CAP 139, Rev. Ed. Laws of Benue 2004. She said the exercise would be sustained until total sanity is achieved in this regard.
In the course of our inspection, officers, they got hold of this and it was brought to the office. Please, I want to beg us, anytime you go out to buy anything, try as much as possible to check the expiry dates. Because if you are taking anything that is expired, you are only poisoning your system. You are only giving yourself cancer instead of either protein or whatsoever. So please, we are doing this to make sure that, and to create awareness, that as you go out to buy things from every market, every shop, make sure you check the expiry date so that you don't poison yourself with your own money.
Items destroyed were juice and assorted soft drinks, drugs, sachets and tinned milk, biscuits, body creams, custard, among others. Moving over to the aviation sector, the Director General, Civil Aviation, Nigeria, Captain Chris Najomo, has said emphatically that all mobile phones must be switched off during takeoff and landing of an aircraft in Nigeria. He said the flight mode option is no longer acceptable in Nigeria, effective immediately. Rising from the emergency meeting of the National Civil Aviation Security Committee and stakeholders meeting held in Abuja on Tuesday, Captain Najomo said deeper synergy between all aviation stakeholders was being encouraged to stem unruly passenger behavior and safety. The meeting saw attendance from airline operators, all critical security agencies, the Federal Airports Authorities of Nigeria, Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, the Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, the National Assembly, and other aviation stakeholders. Captain Najomo warned that unruly behavior in the industry would not be tolerated. Earlier in his presentation, he stated that the meeting is not about pointing fingers or apportioning blame, as that would not achieve the desired results. It is rather about listening, discussing and awakening us to our individual and collective responsibilities towards a safe and secure air transport sector.
As a takeaway from today's engagement, and to avoid ambiguity and perceived confusion, all mobile phones, I repeat, all mobile phones and other portable electronic devices should be switched off during at least the critical phase of flight on all airlines. Switch off. There's nothing like anything like flight mode. Must be switched off.
With take a pause here, and up next are news stories from the beat sector. Stay with us.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa.
Welcome back. Glad to have you join us on the Housing TV News at the top of the hour. Now to the beat sector. A partially collapsed 5-story building in the Mabushi district of Abuja has left residents worried for their safety, especially since construction has continued despite the risk involved. Some residents who spoke to newsmen said the construction of the building, located behind the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Grace City Parish of Ahmadu Bello Way, began in 2023 before the partial collapse occurred on July 24, 2025. According to some residents, the contractors appear to have reached an agreement with the authorities, as the building was originally supposed to be 3 stories but was built up to 5 stories. It was reported that the collapse had occurred on the morning of July 24, 2025. It was reported that the collapse had occurred on the morning of July 24th, noting that even after inspection and a momentary sealing by officials of the FCDA, attempts had continued to rebuild the collapsed section rather than completely halt construction. Meanwhile, efforts to reach the Director of Development Control, Mukhtar Galadima, for clarity on the issue proved abortive. Onto the foreign scene. At least 14 people, including a family with 3 young children, were injured in an overnight Russian attack on Ukraine's northern Sumy region. The strike on the town of Oktayka hit a residential neighborhood, wounding children aged 5 months, 4 years, and 6 years. Prime Minister Yulia Sendenko confirmed. The attack comes as U.S. President Donald Trump intensifies efforts to broker an end to the war. According to Ukraine's Air Force, Russia launched 93 drones and 2 missiles across the country overnight. Ukraine defenses shot down 62 drones and 1 missile, but strikes were recorded at 20 locations. In the south, a massive drone assault on Odessa set fire to a fuel and energy facility, injuring 1 person. Port infrastructure in Ismail was also damaged. Russia has escalated strikes on Ukraine's energy infrastructure this week. A recent attack ignited an oil depot owned by Azerbaijan Sokar and damaged a gas transport facility in Poltava. Officials report Ukrainian energy facilities have been targeted nearly 2,900 times since March 2025. Moscow insists it does not strike civilian areas, but Ukraine says fuel depot, energy hubs, and residential neighborhoods remain prime targets. That's the much we can take on Housing TV News at the top of the hour. But before we go, a quick recap of our top stories. NAPTIP rescues 25 women from human trafficking attempt in Abuja. Observers laud Kaduna by-election as credible, urges sustained voter education. All electric devices must be switched off during flight takeoff landing, and says the NCAA DG. And on the foreign scene, at least 14 wounded persons in Russian attacks on Ukraine's Sumy region, Prime Minister says. For more news in the housing sector, do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all our social media platforms. You can also download the Housing TV app on Google Play Store. Thanks for watching. I am Dorcas Chia. Bye for now.